So it's my last day in Guangzhou, and at the end of every trip I like to do a video about safety, or at least my perception of what I think safety is like in the places that I visit. And I wish I could say, you know, this is great and it's safe, but that's just not what I feel. And I feel so guilty because it's so unfair. It's not like anything's happened here or that justify me saying that it's not a safe place. So maybe I won't say that it's not safe. Maybe I'll just say that I am uncomfortable here. I really cannot imagine coming here and walking around alone and not being able to speak Chinese, which is such a double-edged sword in itself, because when I go to places and I do speak Chinese, I very quickly have mobs of people crowding around me to poke and check out the foreigner that's speaking Chinese, which makes it even scarier. Before I came here, a couple of people warned me about pocket pickers. So if you are going to be walking around at night or in crowded places, just make sure that you know where your bag is or your purse, or carry it in the front. People literally shoving and shouting and shitting in the streets. As you can imagine, it's really important that you stay calm and cool. Even when people sometimes literally push you out of the way to cut in front of a line, stay calm and keep your cool. Another big issue for me here was the fact that I couldn't have Google Maps. It really crippled me. Not only can't you have Google Maps, you can't do Google searches, you can't check your Facebook. So if you're walking around, it's very difficult to navigate without a map. It was only in my last 2 days that I realized that the iPhone maps actually work here. So that was quite a lifesaver. So if you have iPhone, your map will work here. After figuring out how to use that map, I was able to navigate to Xinsheng Street, which has a ton of Western restaurants and bars. If you do not know how to navigate there, most taxi drivers know the W Hotel. If you get to the W Hotel, you can sort of walk from there to that street, Xinsheng Street, and it's got tons and tons and tons of restaurants and bars and subways and everything. The traffic here was also a bit of a concern. You have to be very careful when you cross roads. Buses and taxis have very, very little patience for people crossing where they shouldn't. And even if you are crossing where you should, still keep an eye out. Speaking of traffic, I took the metro, and at first it was a little bit tricky, but it's clean and it's relatively safe inside. I also took a cab, and that was not so clean, and I didn't feel so safe. Well, not safe, I should say, uncomfortable. I felt more uncomfortable taking a taxi than I do taking the metro. And also, traffic here is a bit of a nightmare, so if you can figure out how to take the metro, you might be able to get where you want to go much quicker than by a cab. Another surprising thing here, the amount of mosquitoes and the size of the mosquitoes. You can literally feel them land on your body. They're huge. But there's lots of 7-Elevens and Family Marts around, so you can go there and get yourself some bug spray, and then you should be fine. If you're visiting the Canton Fair in Guangzhou, it's a huge complex, and most of the people inside speak English. Again, I didn't have any problems inside, and I've never heard of anyone that having any problems inside. So if you have any problems or you have inquiries or anything like that, you'd probably be able to solve most of that inside the Canton Fair. So in conclusion, I want to make clear again that I think it's very unfair for me to say that it's unsafe here. So I'm just going to say I feel uncomfortable walking around here alone, and especially at night. So visit, but be vigilant, be safe, and try to avoid dark little alleys at night. Just stay out of those kind of situations. Speaking of traffic, oh my God.